A mysterious stranger rents a room at the Lion's Head Inn. He's covered head to toe in bandages and keeps to himself, except when he berates the staff. His name is Jack Griffin, a brilliant chemist who has discovered the secret to invisibility. A breakthrough, sure, but it's slowly driving him mad and murderous. Can Dr. Griffin find his way back from the brink, or is he forever doomed to be the Invisible Man? I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And I'm Kayla J.
And this is Filmgazm. Welcome to the Filmgazm podcast. This week, we're celebrating another movie reaching a significant milestone, the 1933 Universal classic, The Invisible Man, which is celebrating its 90th anniversary this year. This movie's almost 100 years old. Pretty crazy. Universal was built on a foundation of horror classics. They eventually, got away from that and definitely forgot about their roots.
I'm about to say they've definitely somewhat turned their backs on it.
Yeah,
thanks to a lot of statements that are on record.
But this remains a modern classic, definitely inspiration for a lot of films that came after. And what's your experience with this one?
I had caught this one on TV when like TCM was showing it one year. Because like AMC does Fear Fest, TCM show like the super classic stuff. So you usually flip between the two. And I had seen that they were showing this one, so I was like, ooh. And so I recorded it. It's back when I was solo with my parents. And I watched it and I fell in love with it. This was well before the remake came out. Mm-hmm. And I just instantly fell in love with like Claude Rains' portrayal, his like just unhinged as fuck performance he gives. Like the ability that they pulled off with like making the invisible stuff work. And just like the fact that this film really goes for it and is a lot darker than I was expecting out of a Universal monster film. Like this one really goes for it, and I kind of respect the hell out of that because you don't get that a lot. Even with and I think this was pre-Hays Code, I believe.
Yeah.
And even then pre-Hays Code, nothing really push buttons. But when you get a film like this, you're like, God damn, all right, sweet.
When you've got a character who pretty much says, like, I can do whatever I want. I can kill, I can steal, I can rape, and you can't stop me. Like, this is 1933. People are going to be terrified of this guy. I saw this for the first time around the time the remake came out because I wanted some context, so I watched this first. And I was hooked immediately. I'm like, this is crazy. This dude's nuts. I had seen Claude Rains in The Wolfman and Casablanca before this, and he's pretty stable characters in those movies. So seeing him just be a complete manic nut job really showed off his range and gave me a whole new appreciation for the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he's one of those names I had heard before a lot. Obviously, he's just one of those like very well-known classic actors. And once I saw this, I really understood where people were coming from. I was like, yeah, I get it. He is, wow. You see why it makes sense that this is a film that shot him further into stardom.
Well, in my research, this was pretty much his first film. Like, he went from the stage to The Invisible Man.
God damn.
Yeah, we're going to talk about how that happened because it almost didn't happen. A lot happened around this movie that nearly tanked it many times. But first, my question to you. I'm very interested to see where this goes. What would you do if you were invisible?
That's a really good question. Oh, I think on the film sets. I get all the spoilers before the films come out. Yeah, God, I probably fucking pull pranks and stuff, make people think their house is haunted.
That's fucking awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, bitch.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Do the whole shit where they think they're being watched in the bathroom. They are. They just don't know it's me trying to creep them the fuck out.
I would be like a super passive aggressive ghost. I would just write like instead of like handprints on the mirror or stuff like that, I'd write "fuck you."
I just go over and knock shit off openly.
I'd
Like
slap,
walk past the table and just slap shit off the table.
I would. That's I love that. I would probably resort to a lot of pranks as well. I think a really fun thing to do for I'd probably do this more than anything is trip people on the sidewalk all the time. Just stick my leg out and wait.
No, you know what? I do a service for people. I take out all the bikers. I'm invisible. They can't see me.
Take out all the bikers.
Get off the fucking road, you assholes.
I would I'd slap a lot of drinks out of people's hands. Just flop, flop, flop for no reason other than to watch them freak out.
I just do that thing with like you when they're getting ready to drink, you tap the bottom of it real hard.
Yeah, just whoop. I'd make people deep throat a lot of bananas. Like they'd be eating a banana, and I would just go up and be like, push the bottom of it so the whole damn thing goes down their throat.
Jesus.
Yeah, it'd be funny. And I'd commit a lot of crimes. A lot of crimes.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I'm invisible. No one's going to know it's me.
Nope. I love like in the movie, he just walks into a bank, grabs a tray of cash, and just casually walks outside, and he's like, "Hey, money! Who wants money? I got money here, money." Like I'd do that.
Yeah, yeah, I do that. As we have seen, I wouldn't do it, but obviously we can't speak on behalf of everyone that gets powers. But as we've seen in things like the boys and other takes on this character, I think in Hollow Man, some people would get that, go a little too far with that, do things they shouldn't to people.
I think most dudes would immediately go straight to rape. Like that would happen a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be a very dangerous power for a guy to have. I think rape would be a very much more a bigger crime than it already is. I don't know how to word that, but you know what I mean. Like it'd be a lot more widespread.
It'd be an epidemic, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a moral code, and I could see myself killing a few people, but I would never ever do that.
No.
No. That's the most heinous thing you can do to a human being, I think.
Yeah. If anything, look, I'm kind of curious because you're an invisible person, but when you do things like use the bathroom, that part's seen what's coming out of you at least.
Can you imagine walking into a bathroom and all you see is just a stream of piss with no human being?
And that's what I'm getting at with the haunting. I would just piss in people's toilets, door wide open, so then all they see.
If I really didn't like the person, I'd probably like shit on their pillow or something.
And I'd shit and then not wipe. I just walk away.
The haunting thing would be the most fun. That would be like, I'd look forward to doing that. Until you ran up to like an actual ghost and they'd be like, "Hey, asshole, you're on my turf. I can see you."
Be like, well, I can't see you, so fuck off, ghost. I'm alive, you're not.
I'd steal a lot of cars. Like I'd wait for people to like open their door and then like grab their keys and just drive away.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, I do shit like what I showed you in the text I sent you to the asshole that just like can't back into a spot park close to me. The things I do to that car right now if I was invisible.
I would I'd obviously, I'd sneak into like government buildings and learn some shit.
Oh, yeah. I like how you say that as we have like, everyone freaking out about what's going on in the Middle East. Like, let's go find out what's actually happening. You could go into Area 51, no one's going to know.
You could, except for the aliens who would be like, why can no one else see that guy?
What aliens? Of course there's no aliens at Area 51 does.
The possibilities are endless. I know what I wouldn't do. Go completely insane and cause a train crash.
Oh, that's tempting.
I would I'd finally experience first class in an airplane.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have a me day. I would just not show up to work. I just show around the house watching TV, just invisible. Who's going to know? They can't find me because they can't see me. I'm just chilling.
Yeah, reinvent yourself. If I ever became invisible, I'm moving to like, you know, fucking Morocco and just going crazy.
Yeah.
You never have
Wait.
to pay for anything ever again.
Mhm.
You can crash anywhere you want.
It's kind of like the most perfect thing ever in a way.
It kind of is, you know, and the remake made it seem like it could be possible.
Oh yeah, all you gotta do is buy a suit that, let's be honest, if it is a real thing, it's gonna cost like thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, Psycho Adrian invented his suit, but yeah. It's cheaper to be a sociopath genius than it is to buy a invisibility costume.
You make a fair point. Yeah, I am curious because I know what Noah was saying, like he wanted to read it his version somewhat in reality. So I'm like, if that's even close to reality, are they? You cannot tell me they're actually thinking of making suits like that. What the fuck?
I just thought of something I would probably constantly do to the point where it would probably make me sick. I would scream in people's faces. Like just walk up to somebody and freaking like right in their fucking face. They would not know what the hell happened. They would be freaking out. That would
The
be so much fun.
the obscenities that would fly out of my mouth.
Oh, dude, you could cause like you could end marriages, you could cause street fights, just screaming shit at people. Oh, that'd be awesome.
Or I just go up and just start breathing very heavily on people because they won't see me.
Get like 2 inches away from them and just breathe on them. God, you'd feel like the other person. They'd be like, I don't know why, but I feel really uncomfortable right now.
That's really all I would live for is like everything I do to just let off my annoyance at humanity would just happen
Yeah,
within the realm of fucking more boundaries. Because yes, I'm with you. I'm not gonna just gonna go out and be like, time to go to the fucking Schlitterbahn and take some bikinis off. Like, no, let's calm down.
personal space is gone. That's very good. I'm gonna like just put my hand like right in front of. I'm gonna let people walk into my hand a lot, like slap themselves in the face. That's gonna happen a lot.
I'm gonna go out my way to make sure someone else looks bad. So I might like go up and like brush against like a person's butt, but make sure there's a person behind them so they think it's them. And then I just watch the chaos unfold.
You could go to like a prison yard and just loudly proclaim like, "Hey, nice ass," and then just leave. And just watch the chaos. Someone's getting stabbed.
Well, yeah. I would just like find ways to just cause chaos. It'd be great.
Fuck, I want to be invisible. This sounds fun. That was fun. That was a good conversation. So how did the movie come about? Well, The Invisible Man was directed by James Whale, who had previously helmed Frankenstein for Universal just 2 years prior. In fact, The Invisible Man was supposed to be the follow-up to Dracula, but Frankenstein was made instead. Couldn't really find out why. The film is based on the novel of the same name by H.G. Wells. It was first published in 1897, right after The Time Machine and The Island of Dr. Moreau. People forget how many incredible stories H.G. Wells gave us.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. I mean, both within the realm of like quote unquote genre, um, but also like outside of genre. Like just the yeah, H.G. Wells gave us a lot of shit that I think we still adapt to this fucking day.
Yeah. I've seen I've seen a lot of the films based off his work. I've only read War of the Worlds. Great book. I hated the Tom Cruise movie. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, I don't like that movie.
So while Frankenstein was shooting, Universal decided to buy the rights to The Invisible Man from Wells himself for $10,000. H.G. Wells was alive at the time of his movie. He demanded script approval. Wells died in 1946. It really like I always thought he was like, 100, 200 years ago, but no, guy died in the 40s. He was on set for The Invisible Man. How crazy is that?
Damn. Okay. Yeah. Especially like you don't even nowadays. It's not like you get the author on set a lot because the studio will actively do everything they can to make sure they're not on set.
Yeah. Well, they
So
tried to with Wells, but he was like, "You're not making the movie unless I have final approval over this script," and it took a fucking long time to get that approval. he was demanding.
good
Um,
for him.
yeah, I guess he saw Island of Lost Souls, and he's like, "You're not fucking doing that to me again."
Fool me once.
James Whale was the first choice to direct, but he dropped out right before production was to start with Boris Karloff in the lead role. This was part of his 5-picture deal after Frankenstein. Whale didn't want to be the horror director, quote unquote, so he decided to do Frankenstein and jump ship and do a bunch of other stuff, which is unfortunate. But his follow-up to Frankenstein, a 1932 drama called The Impatient Maiden, failed at the box office. So what did Whale do? He immediately went back to horror with The Old Dark House, also starring Karloff. I love that. One movie, he's like, oh shit, I gotta get back to basics.
That happens so much. So like, all right, I'm gonna step away, and then they do, and then something happens, and they're like, well, shit, never mind. I gotta go back. Gotta go back.
I imagine audiences going to see The Impatient Maiden and being like, boo, where's the monster? This sucks.
Fuck you, Wells.
So Whale did The Old Dark House, and that did okay. I've heard it's not a great movie. Universal was still trying to find a new director for The Invisible Man, and they loaned Karloff out to MGM to shoot The Mask of Fu Manchu, a controversial movie where Karloff's in yellowface being mystical Fu Manchu.
Gee, I wonder why it's controversial.
Whale eventually relented, accepted the gig with a new script written by Preston Sturges. His script involved a Russian chemist who makes a madman invisible to wreak vengeance on Bolsheviks who have destroyed his family. That's not what the movie's about. So I think you can guess where this is going.
Oh boy, we're about to hear some crazy ideals, aren't we?
After working on the script for 8 weeks, Sturges handed in his screenplay and he was immediately fired by Universal the next day.
Oh my god.
We're like, this is awful. Get out of our studio.
I love that idea of like, oh, okay, good, we got scripts. We'll get back to you, man. Okay, we got you. After they went, Jesus God, call him and fire him now.
Well, I think the guy was sounds like he was a communist, not to be, not to aid in the Red Scare, but you write a horror movie script about a Russian chemist wreaking vengeance on the Bolsheviks. It's like, okay, this guy might be pretty red.
Yeah. What if they didn't make him leave while they read it? They just had him sitting there the whole time they were reading the scripts going, oh, okay. Okay.
I'd hope it was a completely quiet room and the exec is just reading it and occasionally glancing up angrily at the writer, like the whole time, just this look of disgust. And then at the end of it, he just snaps his fingers and 2 security guards just drag him out of the room. Not a word exchanged.
I love like halfway through, he's just like, did you read the book?
Fuck. That got me. That's great. Oh boy. Okay, where was I?
Wow, I was expecting that one to kill the way it did. Sweet.
Neither was I. That was great. Oh, okay. So Whale had also written his own treatment for the film, which is described as kind of a combo of the Phantom of the Opera and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, interjected with some religious touches like he had in Frankenstein. And Wells said, fuck this. No, I don't like this. So what did Whale do? He fucking left the movie again.
God damn it.
There was very much a, fuck you, fuck me, fuck you. And no one was happy.
Right? No. No. fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you. It's like that scene in the beginning. It's only because I watched it in theaters recently. It's on my mind. House Styles Corpses when they're getting ready to rob the place, and those two guys are robbing the place at the beginning, and Captain Swan is like, first of all, fuck yo mama. Second of all, fuck yo grandma. And then it ends with a famous, and most of all, fuck you. That's what this feels like.
That was James Whale, very much. He knew Universal wanted him and only him. So he just, when he felt like he wasn't getting his, he just walked off several times. That's amazing. So here's where shit gets kind of wild. In January 1933, Universal reported a loss of $1.2 million and planned to shut down for 6 to 8 weeks after current productions had finished shooting. They were basically going to take a hiatus and be like, we got to figure this shit out. We're hemorrhaging. Whale directed a movie called The Kiss Before the Mirror. E.A. DuPont had a movie called The Wizard that was never filmed. And he ended up becoming the next person set to direct The Invisible Man. John Weld was signed on to direct the film script, browsed through several rejected drafts, including one by Laird Doyle. Weld asked for a copy of Wells's novel from Universal, as they did not have a copy. He got his own to use for source material. They didn't fucking read the book.
God damn it. I love that. I know he's like, all right, do you guys have a copy of the book so I can do this? And they just looked at him like, I wonder if I was like, there's a book?
H.G. Wells off to the side, like, oh, come on. No wonder none of you fucks can get this right.
Yeah. The book's right here. They just looked at him like, who are you?
Here, I'll give you a signed copy. The guy picks it up and says, fuck you, H.G. Wells.
Yeah.
Learn to read, asswipe, H.G. Wells.
Although some executive comes in and is like, hey, hey, what's this book? We should make a movie out of this.
It does feel like that sometimes. Executives just grab a book out of a pile and say, cool cover, make a movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sure enough, Roger Corman, one of the biggest pioneers of like indie cinema, he was actually famous for doing stuff like that, where he would have like a poster and someone would be like, hey, that's a cool poster. And he looks at me and go, write me a movie then. And like that, it's how we got stuff like Slumber Party Massacre and stuff. Like he would famously do that. But it got him so many films made.
That perfectly explains The Raven. Like, I guarantee you Corman did not fucking read that poem. He thought, ooh, Raven, I'll have a scientist that turns into a bird, and Vincent Price is a wizard, and Boris Karloff is an even bigger wizard, and Peter Lorre is this weird guy, and Jack Nicholson's there. And someone's like, it is a 2-page poem. Could we slow down, please? It's about grief and loss. He's like, no, it's about wizards and birds. Like, that actually answers a lot of questions I had about that movie.
It does. And apparently he had his ratio of how many boobs need to be in a movie down to a science. He was very well known for that.
Roger Corman is like the weird love child of Lloyd Kaufman and like Martin Scorsese.
Yeah. Anyway, look, Roger Corman, Charles Band, and Lloyd Kaufman are the backbone of fucking independent cinema. Say what you will about the films. I know not everyone is a big fan of stuff that Corman and Troma and Full Moon has done, but I got mad respect for how they fucking get shit made.
Yeah, if I could crank out a production in like 3 weeks based off a poster I saw, I'd do it all the time.
Yeah. And somehow be like ties to like half of the talent in Hollywood working today. Like, goddamn.
Yeah. Be oddly, weirdly, sort of responsible for the Silence of the Lambs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Jack Nicholson's career.
You wouldn't believe it if there wasn't like a documentary about it.
Yeah. James Cameron, people. Spawn, Piranha 2, The Spawning. Before that, he did behind the scenes stuff on Galaxy of Terror.
Yeah, and now he won't even do in front of the scene stuff.
Yeah, now he's fucking blue people constantly. Not actually, it just feels like it.
So Weld got a copy of The Invisible Man, decided, hey, I should read this if I'm going to write a movie about it. Seems to be the only person who ever fucking thought that.
You think when he suggested that, they looked at him like, "You want to read the book? Just write the script." And he's like, "No, I'm going to read the book." They're like, "Fine."
I pictured some idiot executive being like, "What? Read the book? Why don't you just watch the movie?" He's like, we're making the movie."
You hired me to write, but I have to read the book. There's a book based off the movie that we made. No, we didn't make the movie yet.
It does feel, executives feel like the kid playing with the blocks who's trying to shove the cube into the circle slot, just constantly trying to force it in there, not realizing you just got to put it over there and you got it. That's the executive.
Every time.
Every time. If it doesn't make sense, you fucking force it in that hole till it makes sense.
Get it in there, god damn it.
So while he's doing this, yet another new writer got attached to write the script. His name was R.C. Sheriff. That's a hell of a name.
R.C. Sheriff.
R.C. Sheriff sounds made up. Sounds like the lead of like a toy car movie.
This is like I was like, this is like an action movie star, even porn, dare I say.
R.C. Sheriff. Whale decided to saunter on back to set. Decided, all right, fine. Third time's a charm. I'll make this movie. Sheriff,
I got you guys this time.
Yeah, just don't wrong me again.
Oh, I walk.
Sheriff worked on the script at his home in London, disregarded Universal's request he draw material from a movie called The Murderer Invisible and the previous draft scripts. They thought, just rewrite what we've already got. And he was like, no, I'm reading the book. I want to make that. Oh, no, wait. That was Weld. This guy didn't read the book. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Weld. They just gave up on him.
No one wanted to read the book, but the one guy that did, they just went like, give him, what was it, a trick? They're like, yeah, we'll give you the book, and then like, don't ever. They, as soon as they left, everyone was like, don't ever call him again.
That's kind of what it looks like here. Like, yeah, here, go read the book. Go. All right. Change the locks. It does feel like that. Like this guy had the fucking audacity. He read a book. It just hurts to say it. Who reads a book anymore? This is Hollywood.
Right? I'm trying to lose hope for that supposed Chainsaw Confidential movie. At least you won't sit there and be like, when the movie comes out, what? They're going to be like, wait, there was a book we based this on? No.
90% of adaptations do feel like they were unaware that there was a book. Universe.
At least 1% is True Break going, oh, I know there's a book. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, or you get those crazy auteurs who read the book like 300 times and still disregard it.
Yeah. Fucking Kubrick being like, look, I read The Shining, Steve, and I don't believe in your ghost bullshit, so that's going right out the window.
Yeah. I don't need no alcoholism metaphor in my story, Steve. Ghosts and a bear suit guy blowing another guy. That's my vision. Get on board or get out. I want blowjobs and I want ghosts.
Oh, I walk.
Can you imagine being like the guy who has to make these people happy? God, I'd lose my mind.
That's like not an executive producer, but one of the many different types of producers. It's one of their jobs is to try to just keep the peace and the fucking train rolling.
I don't have the patience to. I couldn't deal with selfish morons all the time. Like I'd lose it. I admire people who are able to keep that peace.
I feel like I say I feel like something, but I have a good tendency to like stay very calm in certain rooms, like on the outside, but I'm raging beyond all hell on the inside.
I can see you getting abused to the point where you like stab a guy in the eye. The pressure gets too much. You snap, and we hear about you on the news.
Gee, thanks, buddy.
I've I've heard some of your rants. You get scary.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Universal closed down on February 13th with only executives and a skeleton crew remaining on the payroll. Universal laid off Whale for 12 weeks before he directed The Invisible Man.
God damn it.
That's four. That's four. Universal reported they planned on having Karloff return to The Invisible Man in May. Then Universal reopened in May. They released his new film, The Kiss Before the Mirror, the critical acclaim, Whale, his new film. But it was the studio's lowest grossing film in LA and New York. So critics loved it. Nobody went and saw it. It didn't help Universal at all. Turns out the only thing people wanted to see from Universal was horror movies.
Interesting. Something that they have hadn't really tried to get away from.
Yeah. While RC Sheriff was completing the script, on June 1st, several trade papers announced Karloff was leaving the picture. The Hollywood Reporter reported, because that's what they do, the reporter reports. On May 16th, Karloff was out. He was definitely out. He's not coming back. Apparently, it was a salary issue. They were like, they wanted to pay him for screen time, which is ironic.
They want paid for screen time. I feel like they knew what they were saying. That was one of those, I feel like, really sly, we know what we're saying type of things.
Yeah. Claude Rains' face is in this movie for about 25 seconds at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Not a great payday.
Yeah. Yeah, we won't pay for how long you're on the movie. You read the script. The fuck? I'm only in it for the last 25 seconds.
So yeah, Karloff was out. Wells finally approved of the script, including Sheriff's changes like the drug monocaine, not just making him invisible, but also driving him crazy. So that was an addition from Sheriff, and Wells was like, it's acceptable. And walked away. So now they had to recast Karloff. Who could step into Karloff's shoes? Well, one of the first names talked about was Colin Clive, who played Dr. Frankenstein in Frankenstein. Figure, we can't get the monster, let's get the doctor. He was heavily considered to replace Karloff as the film's lead, but then Whale remembered a play he saw in London called The Insect Play. Not a great title. I'm sure it was great. The star of this play was Claude Rains. Rains was unknown at the time. Universal argued against Whale casting him as they really felt they needed a big name to sell this movie because they were pretty much about to collapse. So they don't want to take a lot of risks here. Karloff put asses in seats. Rains, no one knew who the fuck he was.
Who's this Rains guy? Never heard of him.
Yeah. Rains was making so little money in the theater that he very nearly was on the verge of giving up his entire profession to be a farmer in New Jersey. So he was about to quit.
What a hell of a choice there. Dreams broken. That sounds like you see it in parodies all the time. Like, dreams broken, I'm going to go be a farmer on the family land.
How does a classically trained London actor end up owning a farm in New Jersey?
New Jersey of all places. Like,
I double checked. It wasn't Jersey. It was New Jersey.
like how?
I don't know. Ultimately, it was
Can you imagine him like telling people what he used to be? I used to be a classically trained actor, damn it, as he's on his tractor.
You ever see The Insect Play? That was me. 5 curtain calls. Excuse me, I got to bring in the radishes.
God.
I wonder,
like fucking Clayface and Harley Quinn.
Yeah. But like even more like the ripple effect, Claude Rains decides to give up. Maybe they do go with Colin Clive as the Invisible Man. Maybe it doesn't do that well. Maybe Universal does fold. Maybe there is no modern Universal Studios. How many films don't get made? The ripple effect that decision would have on Hollywood. Pretty crazy.
Butterfly effect, as we most famously saw in the Ashton Kutcher movie.
Yeah. He's lost some goodwill, hasn't he?
He has. Is that like a controversial thing to say now after kind of what went down?
Well, here's the thing. you don't, under any circumstances, defend a rapist. I don't care why. I don't care how good a friend he was to you.
Oh, dude.
Raped three
Did,
women.
did you watch the apology video
Oh my! I
that those
watched
two
part of
did?
it. I turned it off.
Dude, it was like, guy, I was like, come on, you two. Just, I don't care what he raped three women like that. It confirmed convicted for. I think like five came forward,
Yeah,
but three are convicted for. Like there was substantial enough evidence to say, yeah, he did that shit. And you're defending him? I don't. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't care how good a friend he is and stuff like that. No,
to
no.
go to bat to not, like to know that happened, and to still be like, hey, I only ever got a good vibe off the guy. Well, then you're a fucking horrible judge of character.
Yeah, especially considering like I mean, it looked bad for everyone but Topher Grace, obviously, in that situation. Since apparently now we know there's probably a reason he did not hang out with the cast. It wasn't because he was snobbish. He may have known about some things. Um, but it really looked extra bad on to me on Kutcher because of what his charity is for. It's like, dude,
I know. It's like, wow.
for those who don't know, his charity is about stopping sex trafficking. He's
Unless they're
defending
bought
a
by friends of
rapist.
his, and then he, tends to look the other way.
Yeah, apparently, if they're old co-star slash friends of his, he will turn their way, and so will Mila Kunis.
My favorite thing about that whole situation was somebody pointed out that like Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis have like a modesty wall that they will film videos against so they don't look super wealthy.
Yeah, they're,
Apparently, a lot of
they're
celebrities have that. Drew Barrymore did the same thing.
oh yeah, oh she lost some goodwill too for a way. I mean, still a serious reason, but not like defending a rapist.
There's
Serious.
dick move, and then there's monster move.
Yes, she did dig move. You hear her writers straight up said, "We're not coming back to your show. Fuck you."
I love that. Like, hey, yeah, it's like, hey, strike's over. We cool? Like, no, we not cool, Drew.
Yeah, yeah, true. You tried working while we were on strike. We ain't cool.
Ugh. Let's see.
Uh,
Colbert's hiring.
but
But
yeah,
yeah, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, Kurtwood Smith, and Deborah Jo Rupp have all lost some goodwill after openly defending a convicted rapist, which
yeah.
is kind of, in the first chapter of Hollywood career do's and don'ts.
Yeah, don't defend the rapists.
Don't
I
defend the
mean, look,
rapist.
admittedly, there's some weird stuff going on with like to me with like Mila Kunis and Ashton Kutcher because you had like them kind of coming out openly talking about how like, they don't braid their kids until they stink or something like that, and I'm like, oh god. And then like they don't like giving them like showering them with gifts on Christmas because they're like, well, we didn't grow up rich, we don't want them to get spoiled. I'm like, it's okay to like enjoy your wealth. Like you two earned it. It's fine.
So they're not bathing their kids and they're not giving them toys. Are they abusing these children? Because it sounds like they
Oh
are.
yeah. When I was reading, I was like, I would hate to be your children. Like Jesus Christ. It honestly, like it went from me thinking like, having like a real big like, damn, Mila Kunis is hot to kind of losing some points because I'm like, wait, if that's how, especially the bathing things, I'm like, wait a minute. And this was like around the time when I think it was like I forgot who Jake Gyllenhaal was like so proudly talking about how he doesn't shower all the time, and and I guess they decided to join in on the conversation, and it lost points. I'm like, wait, if they don't do that for their kids, when do they bathe? Because I'm sorry, that means me like, are you smelling? Are you getting smelly on us?
I always assumed celebrities just like dunked their entire body into a oil drum full of Evian water and limes every day. Is that not true?
Apparently, they like to just do things that just we fucking plebs can't do.
Well, if I was so rich that it was considered bad form for somebody to tell me I stunk, I probably wouldn't shower that often either.
I would openly flaunt my smell. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up, buddy? How you going?"
I'd be shoving peons' faces into my pit, just like, hey, that's what success smells like. Now get away from me. I don't know. I probably would still shower every day because that's gross.
Yeah, it's fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
And this
I
whole like,
also I also wouldn't be defending any rapists. I don't care how rich I am.
yeah, Look, you guys are my friends, but if shit comes out and y'all for sure did shit, I'm not defending y'all.
Oh, 100%. If you get convicted of rape, you are gone. We never speak again.
Yeah.
I have very few caveats for this friendship. That's kind of one of them.
Yes. And of any kind, not just like children, women, like just straight up rape. Like, okay, get out of my circle.
Yeah,
You're
I
not
think
in my
it'd
circle.
be weird if I was like, well, I mean, it wasn't a child. That's like, what the fuck?
I feel like that's kind of what it was with those letters, though. It almost was like, I mean, they were grown adults, weren't they? He seemed like a good guy.
Jesus, that's kind of what it was. They're like, he was a good guy. He made a mistake. It's like, no, I've made mistakes. That's not a mistake. You don't rape 3 times by accident.
Yeah, 3 for sure convicted times. 2
Yeah.
possible times I weren't convicted.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume those also happen.
Yeah.
If you're gonna rape 3, you probably raped 5.
Who knows? Maybe there's more. We don't know.
Yeah, the Bill Cosby effect, if you will.
Yeah. You know, the chocolate ice, your vanilla ice cream tastes good until the chocolate ice cream just rapes it all. Then it tastes funny. To quote Dave Chappelle.
I remember that. Good. That was a good bit. But
That
yeah,
was a good.
but still, just they torpedoed their careers for the dumbest reason, and I will never understand why they did that.
Yeah, back at a worst and probably the worst possible time too, when like that 9 show had come out, got renewed for a second season. So it's like, hey, you guys are kind of back in the spotlight because we got this show that people care about that want that they want to see you in, and then you quickly find a way to repeat it. I wouldn't be surprised if all we get out of it is now Eric, Donna, and Fez, like the only 3 that kind of have stayed out of shit.
I would love if if that 90s show just gets progressively smaller in its cast because people keep doing terrible public shit to the point where it's just like Fez and the new cast. And everyone's like, where'd everyone go? And he's like, what everyone? It's just us. It's always just been us. So, what everyone? What are you talking about?
We're just not acknowledging it.
Nope,
So
because
I think
that's what they did with Danny Masterson. They just ignored the fact that he's not there.
yeah, they did. Well, and actually, I think Fez is somewhat in hot water because I think he has had rumored things with like underage.
Oh my, for fuck's sake.
I
Who's not
think
a scumbag on that set? Jesus Christ. Is it just Topher Grace? Is he
it
the
might just be
only
Topher
decent
Grace.
person on that
Technically,
show?
technically, Donna might be reformed. She used to be Scientology, but she's out, so she might be reformed.
Nope. That's it already. Red flag right there.
Yeah, it's just Topher Grace.
Yeah.
You would have thought.
That's amazing. I want to see his Hobbit cut. That's not a metaphor. Like he made his own his own cut of the Hobbit trilogy. That's one
Oh,
long movie that only includes scenes from the books. I would like to see that.
that does actually sound nice. Did you actually see what happened when So apparently, I forget which magazine or site or whatever, they asked him straight up, "What are your thoughts on what your co-stars coming out to defend Masterson?" Like just point blank, like not even coy about it. And he just went, he kind of like did like a nervous laugh and was like, "I don't want to comment. I don't want to talk about it. I'm removed from that. I'd rather let's talk about something else." Like he was like very much like, "I don't know."
Neutral. I like it.
Yeah, it was a very good stance. It was kind of like it's me. It's up there when like Seth Rogen had to kind of like have his statement about the whole James Franco thing. I was like, okay, you said the right things. I like it.
Well, it's tough and it's horrible when you find out someone you considered a good friend is capable of such horrible shit. You it's you're losing something too, and you've got to especially Seth Rogen's case. It's like they were close, and he had to make a judgment call, and I think he made the right one.
Yeah, yeah. Also to confirm this whole Roman Valderrama thing, or Fez. Yeah. So apparently he dated Mandy Moore when she was, well, they met when she was 15, dated when she was 16 or 17. He was 4 years her senior. He claimed that she lost her virginity, which she denied. And then he moved on to Lindsay Lohan, who was 18 and he was 24. And then he had on and off with good old Demi Lovato, who is a whole bag in and of herself. Um, she was 17, he was 29 when they met. Apparently didn't date until she turned 18, but we know how those weirdos work.
So weird that he bragged about being a statutory rapist.
Yeah. And apparently her song 29 is directed towards him. And
Well, fuck, he's in with the right crowd, isn't he?
yep.
They'll
And now
forget. They'll forgive him.
God, and yeah, he's had a kid with someone that's 11 years his junior. He's 43 now, so I mean, she's of age, but still he's doing the young thing. Wow, for all this shit, I kind of give like Leo for having a very specific age range he works with. At least he keeps it legal. Jesus.
Yeah. Once it's legal, I really don't care. Like two consenting adults, there you go. But outside of that, Jesus Christ, shut. The people who do it, like, openly do it. They talk about it. They brag about it. It's weird.
It's
Ugh.
weird, and society doesn't do anything about it. It's kind of like when Anthony Kiedis, no one likes to talk about, but he put in his book that he definitely like banged an underage person, and no one talks about it.
Yeah. Well, Under the Bridge, it's a banger. It's good stuff. You write
Okay.
enough good songs, people will forgive anything.
Apparently.
Anyway, huge tangent there, but worth talking about. Go look up the like apology videos and like acceptance letters, I guess, whatever you call it, that people sent on his behalf, the good character letters.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You could be my best friend, you could be my family member. I am never going to go on record defending a rapist.
Yeah, no.
God. Okay, back to the Invisible Man. It was Claude Rains' screen test that won over Universal. He did the scene where he talked about like how someone invisible could take over the world. He did that scene, and Universal was like, "Holy shit, this guy's good!" And they immediately signed him to a 2-picture deal and gave him top billing on the Invisible Man.
That's high praise.
That is high praise. They were like, "We got a new Karloff." Every time it was like, Karloff was the new Lugosi, and now Rains was the new Karloff. And it's like,
Meanwhile, Lon Chaney Jr. was just like, I'm here.
he's just like, "I will be the Wolfman forever." And I'm okay with that. Yeah. He's the only one to consistently always play the Wolfman. Everyone, Invisible Man, Creature, Frank, Dracula, they all were, played by multiple actors, but it was always Lon Chaney Jr. as the Wolfman.
Yeah. He was the best at it.
Mad respect. I bet he loved just being crazy. Getting to be a wolf. Just like, I bet he loved that.
I'm sure he did.
Filming took place 2 months in the summer of 1933. Special effects took another 2 months. So it's a quick production. Once they finally, once the studio didn't collapse and they got James Whale to finally sit in the fucking chair, and they got an actor to finally replace Karloff, filming went totally fine.
The way you were that, I saw this like image in my head of like Wells trying to get up, and it's a producer being like, "Hey, what are you doing? Sit back down. Sit back down and direct. Sit."
Yeah, it feels like that. I love how many times he was just like, "Fuck this, I'm out," and then just came crawling back because his next adventure failed
Right.
every time.
Again, not me trying to diswell, like dude's one of the greatest directors to have ever graced cinema, but it is kind of funny how you just kept walking away from this and then getting a new reason not to like come crawling back to it.
He followed this with Bride of Frankenstein, which pretty much cemented his position as the one thing he didn't want to be, the horror director.
Yes.
I guess you got to do 3. You're not the horror director till you do 3.
Apparently, or 2 if you're Ronnie Yu, even though he has a hell of a lot of films outside of America. But man, he did Freddy vs. Jason and Bride of Chucky, and that's all he became.
If you do 2 really good ones, yeah. The Invisible Man was a big success, though nobody knows for sure how much money it made at the box office because they weren't really counting very well back then.
No, I mean, they were this shit traveled the country. Half the time they got all beat up when we got to the next theater.
Yeah, sometimes there were bits missing from the reel, and you just had to guess what had happened.
Yeah, we talked about this. I think back on when we on the old format with Reef for Madness. They just like
Yeah,
it was nothing like how it is now with movies, where it's nationwide. Well, nationwide and limited releases. Even then, we'll get different areas across the country, just limited. Um, and you can guarantee you'll see it at the same time as like probably at least like probably like 1,000 or more other people at a minimum. Um, back
in
then, man, they just like it was a road show. It went to the next town, they played it for a little bit, and it went to the next town, so on and so forth.
the 1930s, there was no movie monster scarier than that deadly reefer. It's going to drive your kids insane, turn them into murderers.
Hated that movie so much.
It's such horseshit. That movie is so terrible. Oh, anyway, it could happen to you. The Invisible Man was a big success. Spawned 4 sequels: The Invisible Man Returns, The Invisible Woman, Invisible Agent, and The Invisible Man's Revenge. I watched all 4 of those to prep for this. The only ones worth revisiting are Returns and Revenge. Invisible Woman and Invisible Agent are horseshit. Do not bother with them. They're terrible.
Fair enough. I mean, these are all short films, so if you do watch it, at least know that it's not a very long movie.
Yeah, none of them crest above an hour 20.
Yeah, the beauty of old school filmmaking.
I miss that. I wish we still had that. I hate padded out unnecessary bullshit in movies, and every single one I watch has them.
Oh yeah, even like some of these films this year that have been like, oh, they're this long for this reason, and then I watch them, I'm like, you could have cut some shit out. It was a little bit too long.
Yes.
Like looking at you, yeah, as much as I like the new Mission Impossible, I was like, I need this much Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I feel like we could cut some stuff out.
Do we need the conference room scene where they're like, yes, we have an AI that has taken over the world. Why are we so calm about this? Where did it come from? Who knows? Wait, that man has a briefcase full of gas. We should do something about that. Or maybe not.
They got to justify whether they get, I think, what was it, Carrie Yules?
That's like a 25-minute scene.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous. Sometimes some films, like I said, like John Wick Chapter 4, I was like, I don't know if I need to do an almost 3 hour John Wick film. Like, let's calm down here. And then I watched and went, I need a 3 hour John Wick film.
I never understood why not once anybody suggested, hey, maybe we just leave him alone. That worked for like 10 years.
It's amazing. Like, it's like everyone forgot, like, when we left him alone, he didn't do shit. And then the moment they just hear, like, we could get money if we kill this guy, it's like that logic for them just went out the window. They were just like, we must get the money, even though no one's gonna have the money because they keep dying.
When there's a cougar in your backyard tearing dogs to pieces, the best solution is to stop putting dogs outside. Just, stop feeding him and he'll go away.
I was like, when I still was just hoping one time for a scene where someone, instead of like running out to go take the bounty, they just go, as soon as they start to get ready and they hear for John Wick, you just see them put all their shit and be like, nope, not worth it.
That one guard from the first movie who he oh, you lost some weight, like that he let go. I bet he was watching this whole thing unfold. Like, I knew it then, I know it now. You don't fuck with this guy. Anyway, The Invisible Man was remade in 2020 to critical acclaim with a fresh new story that focused on spousal abuse and paranoia, and was, in my opinion, one of the best horror remakes of all time. The Invisible Man 2020 is fantastic, super creepy, very tense and suspenseful, and yeah, very, very good movie.
Oh, dude, it's really good, and it just further cemented Laywood now as like a voice, and he took a bit longer than James Wan to kind of really get going on his directing career. But between that and like Upgrade, and he did technically do Insidious Chapter 3, that was his debut that a lot of people forget about. Actually, I quite enjoyed Chapter 3. He really just it just first solidified his style, his way of directing. And yeah, no, I'm with you. I found a great way to update this story. I think probably better than, I'd say it's up there with The Mummy and finding a great way to update the story for it at that time modern audience. It just sucks that when it came out, it was literally right before the COVID-19 shutdown. So its box office kind of got cut in half a little bit for that. With that, if you look at it, it was hugely successful when it came out. It probably would have been a bigger hit had COVID not kind of ruined that.
Yeah, I wonder what the film, like what 2020 to now would have looked like cinematically if COVID had not happened.
COVID and strikes, like how would it look right now?
Yeah, I wonder if the bubble would have popped. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. We'd be watching the new fucking Blade right now, that's for sure. That would have happened already.
Dude, Blade and like Deadpool 3 are like the only two real losses right now in the MCU because I've just not I have voiced this on numerous occasions, so I won't go into details. But how Phase 4 has done nothing for me, so I'm not really into it like I used to.
Yeah.
But man, Blade and Deadpool 3 are like the biggest ones on the only two where I'm like, can I just get these films already? Please.
The Invisible Man has an IMDb score of 7.6, Rotten Tomatoes score of 94%, audience score of 85%. Critics' consensus reads James Whale's classic The Invisible Man features still sharp special effects, loads of tension, a goofy sense of humor, and a memorable debut from Claude Rains. It is currently streaming on Prime Video, but weirdly, all the sequels are on Peacock.
Oh, so that it's like they'll get all the sequels, then a different channel will have the original. I'm like, why? Just get all of them.
I have the Blu-ray, but I have GTA 5 in my PS5 right now, and I didn't want to take it out. So I really like the rest mode thing but anyway, so I watched it on streaming and I went to Peacock because I remember reading that like one of them was there, so I thought they were all there, and it's like, what? Why is the first one not here? And I had to go all the way to Prime Video and watch it there. I
You
couldn't
could
even
have,
say it with a straight face.
and I was about to say you don't you dare. You could easily, even then if it was that much of a hassle, you could just walk to your fucking shelf,
But
grab it.
it's all the way over there. I mean, I don't. Well, I'm supposed to walk 3 feet from my couch to my movie shelf and grab the slightly heavier than the other ones Universal Horror Collection, open it to some random page, hope I land on the Invisible Man, put a disc in the machine, and then just sit down. What am I, a migrant farm worker?
I'm sorry that apparently requires too much goddamn work out of you.
Ah,
I would love that. You're just like, oh man, what a day. I've done a lot. I had to put a movie into a fucking disc player. Oh,
but yeah, Prime Video for the first one, Peacock for the rest of them. I don't know if that applies to the rest of the Universal movies, but it does for this one.
yeah. At least for Invisible Man, we know it does for that one.
Yes. I want them to release a movie called The Visible Man, and it's just about like some guy.
He never gets invisible.
He doesn't have powers. He's not crazy. He's just a dude going about his life, and it's called The Visible Man. But I want the music to be like creepy and like foreboding, but he never actually does anything.
Oh my god.
Anyway, let's talk more about the movie. Give it look at some 4 categories of the film and discuss. Let's start with how about dialogue? Let's see. What were some good lines you liked from this movie?
Oh boy, this was tough. This was tough. Uh, not even because like there's not good dialogue in the movie. There's really good dialogue, but a lot of it's because it's some fucking monologues coming out of Claude Rains. They're just holy shit. Um, I'm going to keep it a little bit simple though. And one is kind of like when I think it's his love is asking why is he doing this, and he just goes on the whole power, power to war to make people grovel at my feet, like that whole thing. I really like, and you can just like you can mainly because you can just tell in that scene like this guy has lost it. Like if there was, what was his name, Jack Griffin, I believe.
Mhm.
In there, he's gone now. There's no more of whatever Jack Griffin you knew. This is now a fucking wants to conquer and watch the world burn.
Well, I'd argue that considering he was capable of a lot of all this shit, I don't think any of them knew Jack.
God damn it. I hate this new teacher mode of view. I don't like it.
I love Claude Rains' monologues. I love how they start out kind of like a little, I want to say like, trying to think of a better word than like educational. Like they sound like something an educated man would say on this, scenario.
Yeah,
But then
at first sane, like a sane guy.
sane, yeah, sane, but still a little bit of like, I don't know about that. But the
Yeah,
further he gets into this, it's more like, I'm gonna rule this place. Everyone kneel before me. I am the invisible god. It's fucking wild, and everyone's just like, "Hey, Jack, I think you need to calm down."
yeah, right. I was like, could you maybe take it down a notch?
One of my favorite lines, because it was one of the stupidest lines I've ever heard a movie character say, is when the people at the inn eventually call the cops to deal with this guy, and he takes off the bandages and he's just cackling, and the inspector just goes, "He's invisible. That's what's the matter with him." Like, really? Okay. You see this a lot, do you? This is a normal thing that happens in this village. You don't seem
Yeah,
that fazed by this.
it's like Blazing Saddles. This is they always see this.
Yeah. Never mind that shit. Here comes Mongo.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It has this like nonchalant attitude to just like, oh, it's an invisible man. We deal with this all the time.
yeah. If I was a cop, that would be me. I would never be freaked out. I'd be like, it's a Tuesday.
But he's also got this like, hang on a second, I think I've solved this one. He's invisible.
Or
Yeah, we
funny
know
that,
that. That's not the problem here. He's also harassing everybody.
yeah. And what's great is that he does that. It'd be one thing if like, okay, but the film characters don't know. He makes that assumption after we've already learned, audience and film characters, that he's invisible, and he's like, wait a minute.
I love that they're like, put the cuffs on. He's like, how can I handcuff a bloody shirt? It's like, well, there's a guy in the shirt. We all know that. Go handcuff him. He's not a ghost. He's a dude who happens to be invisible. He's still an asshole and he's doing illegal shit. Deal with it.
Honestly, this cop sounds like my spirit animal, just finding reasons not to do his job.
I mean, if I was a cop in a small town and I got called to a scene and the perp is a literal invisible man, it is, yeah, I'm not dealing with it either. What's the police code? What's procedure for invisible perp?
Right?
Not my problem. Not my department. I don't know whose department, but it ain't mine.
At that point, I just be like, I really hope one day he leaves. Becomes someone else's problem.
Yeah, we won't know. We'll just hope. I also love his one of his other monologues. An invisible man can rule the world. Nobody will see him come. Nobody will see him go. He can hear every secret. He can rob, rape, and kill. Like, oh, you sound stable. That's something a normal person would say.
Right, dude. I mean, Claude Rains chews up the scenery during these scenes, and it's just like, all right, this guy's clearly lost it. I think we should have been concerned to begin with, but if we weren't, we should be now. He is saying things that a not sane person would say.
Also, like, just how you gonna handle this? Like, you can't. Second he takes off those bandages, he's like, he's a slippery little guy.
He's not faster than a bullet.
How you gonna aim it? You don't know where to shoot.
Who gives a shit? Hope, friendly fire at that point. Let's hope we don't hit anyone.
All right. Music. This is a decent score by Heinz Rommeld. Excuse me. Did a lot of classic scores. I remember reading some of his include All Quiet on the Western Front, Hunchback of Notre Dame from 31, Imitation of Life, The Black Cat. Prolific guy. I like the opening credits score, but other than that, nothing really impressed me.
Yeah, I think the most I got impressed was like when they're starting to close in on him towards the end. He kind of picks up, score picks up. I like that, but it almost felt like there wasn't even really much of a score throughout the movie.
No. And a lot of these older scores do kind of feel pretty formulaic. They don't really stand out. Something I noticed doing a lot of Oscar Sundays was like whenever we do these older movies,
Mm.
The scores always sounded very similar.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were, look, we, there's pros and cons with these executive tests, right? And there's the two types of executive tests. You have the ones we're dealing with now that very clearly don't movies are not their priority. Um, and then like back in the day, like during the time when movies were their priority, but because of that, they would just be like, "Hey, just slap this generic shit on there. Don't give a shit, and we're done with it."
Yeah. Movies were, they were made on a conveyor belt. They were filmed on multiple sound stages. You cranked them out as fast as you could and threw them in the bag so that someone could make a buck. They
Yeah,
didn't really become, in my opinion, an art form until like the 60s. With exceptions. With exceptions.
yeah. I'd argue they've always been an art form. It's just that we started caring more about them as the years went on.
Fair enough. That's a whole other that's a conversation we don't have time for, but yes.
No, yeah,
Um performance, no one's taken this from Claude. Claude
I,
Rains broke out with this and he cemented his place in horror history.
I
Fantastic.
tried really hard. I was like, there has to be someone else. I was like, the most I'll give is the actor that plays Kemp, the one that he harasses throughout the damn movie. Oh, William Harrigan, she plays him.
I need you to be
Uh,
my partner. I need somebody who can be seen to help me with my shenanigans.
yeah. He's really good at selling this like guy that's just like, what the fuck am I stuck in now? Um, I do like how with the cops, he's like, "Can I get done with this, guys? He's going to catch on." They're like, "No, we need you.
I thought
Trust you."
Una O'Connor nearly killed this thing. I don't know why she's constantly screaming. Like even like at the beginning when the Invisible Man just like get out and like knocks a tray out of her hands, she's like, oh, like screaming like it's
Oh yeah.
absolute nightmare. And I'm like, you don't even know yet.
I think the funniest is when they're having like what looks like a meeting and he does something and she just immediately starts screaming and gets on like the table and everything.
That was a bit much, bit much. Um, Gloria Stewart is, she's okay. Better in
Yeah.
Titanic, I think.
Yeah. It like I said, it was tough because it's like you said, this really is probably more than any universe film I watch. Usually they have at least another character or two that pops, but this is Claude Rains. Like he just absolutely he is the definition of like commanding your attention the moment he is on the screen and damn near taking it from everyone else. Like it is very much it almost feels like you're or on his level or you're not, and you better fucking catch up if you're not.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. He's without him, the character doesn't work. Like I don't know if Karloff could have done this. He's a good actor, but Claude Rains really taps into just a level of psychotic that no one else really had back then. Uh, I would have loved to have seen Karloff's take on this, but
It would have been neat.
no.
But yeah, I'm with you. Karloff was a very good actor. But I don't know if he could have pulled it off quite the way like Rains does. And I think what helps Rains is the fact that this was his first like feature film.
Yeah.
So he had I felt like that what you see with a lot of people when it's their first something, they have a lot to prove. So they just lay it all out. You see what like why, a lot of debut albums or debut feature films from directors and stuff like that. They're just putting it all out there. And I think that's helps this performance so much. I think he's already a gifted actor that was like, I have to prove something and I have to put it all on the line for this film.
Well, he was also, Rains was a stage actor. He was very expressive, and he asked Whale to like he thought Whale was holding him back. He asked Whale to let him act more emotionally, asking if he could try to express something with his eyes. And Whale replied, "But Claude, old fellow, what are you going to do it with? You haven't any face. Like you're playing the Invisible Man, Claude.
We won't see you, Claude.
What? Yeah, forget the face. Act with the voice. The
Yeah.
voice. That's what we need."
Yeah. I like that. He's like, Claude, I love the enthusiasm. Loving it. But you seem to forget the part of the title of this film, and there's a key part in that title called Invisible. We're not seeing you.
Best scene. For me, it's the first unmasking scene.
Oh yeah, that one's good.
He's about to be arrested for just being a dick. And they're like, come with us. And he's like, leave me alone. I told you, leave me alone. All I gotta do, I just gotta do this. And
I love how annoyed he sounds when he's finally done. He's like, "You just wouldn't listen, so you just gotta see,
yeah,
and you guys want to leave me." I'm like, God, he is throwing like a tantrum while he does this.
here's a souvenir. Rips his fucking nose off. I don't get why he's wearing a toupee. Like, why bother?
I, all I can say, I don't know, 30s, I don't know.
But yeah, him just cackling when he's ripping the bandages off, and the impressive 90-year-old special effects of there not being a tangible face there. That's pretty shocking. I gotta say, like, that is impressive work.
Yeah, I mean, it still looks good to this day, and that's why. Look, I always tell people like look, I understand that not everyone's going to the same level as I am with movies. Like I have a fucking degree in film, and I understand that for a lot of people, watch anything black and white, it's old and hokey. I'm already seeing it actually with films that are even black and white, right? Um, I've had people talk about like Rob Zombie's fucking Halloween remake or the Friday like from fucking 2000s and how those are so corny now and the acting's so bad and they blah blah because literally not even that old yet. I don't think either one's even 20 years old yet. And we're already hitting that stage with those because people just can't get past this idea that eventually this stuff ages and it's not going to like hit as hard. Um it's and it, to me it's such a it's like, and I get it and I understand it, not even on that level, but it's such a huge disservice when you see that because I'm looking at something like The Invisible Man, and to me, it's not hokey acting. Yeah, it's not how they would act nowadays. Obviously we've evolved in like 90 years since the film released, but it's still really good acting and the special effects. I'm sorry, this 90-year-old film holds up better than the fucking Flash that came out this year.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of character and hokiness, the 2020 Invisible Man would slit the throat and kick the shit out of Claude Rains' Invisible Man. He's a more darker, evil, sadistic nut job, like sociopath.
Yeah, and he wasn't saying 20 years from now that doesn't get considered like hokey and something one day. You know what I mean? It's just it's a
Yeah.
vicious circle.
Film reflects the times in which it was made. It always has. So a 1930s horror film is not going to be, you showed an audience in 1933, The Devil's Rejects, it's going to be, vomiting and psychiatric care for everybody in that theater.
It is two all over again.
Yeah. You got to remember that, So I always try to do my best to keep that in mind.
Yeah. Because yeah, I'm with you. It like when he reveals himself and like the fact that that looks amazing. That there's no even watching out on a Blu-ray. There's nothing with me going like, oh no, I can see an outline. Like nothing. It still looks amazing.
And they're all just like, well, that's new. Was not expecting that. I didn't have He's Invisible on my bingo card.
Yeah. Their reaction is just like my reaction to them in my day today, where I was just like, well, that happened. All right. I'll deal with this later.
What other scenes do you want to spotlight?
Oh, for me, one scene I really liked was when Kemp is listening to the radio, and I guess his study, because back then scholars had studies. Um, and I'm sure they still do. It's always funny that like Universal monster movies, they always have that one scene in it. It
Well, it's
feels
always scientists are always the ones doing this shit. It's never, a scientist figured out how to raise the dead. A scientist figured out how to make himself invisible. A scientist is hunting this, monster in the ocean, in the waters. I haven't seen Creature from the Black Lagoon yet, so I don't know I don't know what's going on with that one. I'm assuming there's a scientist.
I think they're scientists, yeah. But the scene when he's listening to the radio and you're in the broadcast like there's a maniac on the loose, blah blah, and all of a sudden the radio turns off and Claude Rains starts talking. But at first, the way they frame it, it sounds like he's coming out of the radio, like he took over, and it's quickly revealed, no, 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 he's in the room, he's sitting down talking to Kemp right now, and like just a perfectly well done scene from the shots to, like I said, tricking you, making you think like, oh shit, is he on the radio? Oh my god, oh no, he's in the room. That's actually even creepier. He's in the fucking room right now.
Yeah, that was good. That was a
And
good bait and switch.
yeah, really, really fucking good scene that to me is actually it's kind of creepy. It's so creepy. So it still kind of gives me a little bit like, ooh, that was a good creepy moment.
The Invisible Man isn't scary because he's invisible. It's because this psychotic nutcase is invisible. Uh, I love the train crash because it's so just like unnecessarily brutal that he would do that.
It comes out of fucking nowhere.
Gives him the highest body count of the Universal Monster roster. I think over
Yeah.
100 people were on that train.
Yeah, and it's like during a montage of him doing all this petty crime, so you're just like, oh, okay. It's like I get it. Not that serious. So then also on a train, you're like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah, stealing petty cash, slapping some folks, domestic terrorism. Like it's a leap. Holy shit. But yeah, and then in the end, when he's just like on his deathbed, turning back, and they're like, "Well, this was an odd case, but it happens." In horror movies and like before the '60s, there would always be like a wrap up at the end. Where it's like, "Well, here's what happened and why it happened, and let this be a cautionary tale. Don't let it happen to you."
Yeah, no one has an actual like human response to the strange shit that just happened. They're like, they're just like, look, shit happens. This is why you shouldn't do this thing, kids.
Yeah, scientists are gonna create terrible things, and they're going to make themselves invisible. And a man like Jack Griffin cannot handle the stress of such a potion. Like, dude, stop acting like this happens to you all the time.
Yeah.
It's okay to be like, I don't know what the fuck this was.
Oh yeah. Dude, that's the one thing that okay, that's probably my thing with older horror films is he constantly having to wrap it all up and explain everything at the end. Like as much as I fucking love Psycho, the
Yeah,
moment we get to the psychiatrist being like, "Let me explain to you the whole movie you just watched." See, Norman has a form of this psycho, and you're like, "Oh god damn it! I knew that movie."
yeah, it's kind of funny, especially like it is the one like glaring flaw in Psycho, where they're just
Yeah.
like, in case you didn't get it, even though it's pretty fucking obvious what happened here, let me explain it to you like you're a child. No.
In case you didn't know, you're probably wondering why was Norman wearing a I almost want him to just like the movie to like do like a pause, like a meta pause, and be like, "Hello, ladies and gentlemen, let's go back."
Yeah, I almost expect like Alfred Hitchcock himself to walk out and be like, "Good evening. Now, would you like to know exactly what happened with Norman Bates?" Like, no, we saw it, Alf. We're good.
We're good, Alf. Would you like to know if Janet Leigh slept with me? No, we're good, buddy.
Oh, God. God damn it. Uh yeah. Any other scenes you want to spotlight, or do you want to move on?
I actually didn't have too many other scenes. As much as I love watching the classics, they don't always have like a lot of like standout moment scenes that haven't been covered 1,000 times. It's just and also just because of runtimes back then. I mean, we were talking like this is like an hour and 11 minute movie. Um,
I love it. I love the crispiness of it, but yeah, it does give you a limited roster to pick from here.
yeah, it really does. So that's all I had. Like I said, other than like music, and I kind of brought it up when I talked about like the cops closing in on him at the house, and I just love that. Like, oh, you're not actually here because you love me. You brought the cops, you son of a bitch. I have to escape now.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. Like, I wonder who would win in a like if all the Universal monsters had like a battle royale, who would emerge victorious of the original lineup? So that's Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman, the Creature, the Phantom of the Opera,
The mummy.
the Mummy, the Invisible Man. Yeah, all those guys.
I don't know. I know. I wonder if that's what we're supposed to get with the Dark Universe that never happened.
To me, no one's taking it from the Wolfman. That ferocious fuck's gonna rip all of those guys apart.
Yeah.
Until Invisible Man sneaks up with a silver stick and beats the fuck out of him, because that's what happened in the Wolfman. It was Claude Rains who was his dad. So, yeah.
God damn it. All right.
Oh, yeah, cool. I gotta watch Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's the only one I haven't seen, except for the '50s Phantom, but I don't really count that one.
I mean, it's in my set, so I think they count it.
It's in my set too, but I'm counting the DVD lineup from like 2004.
Well, I'm kind of the lineup that's in the set. So,
Well, I don't have that set, do I? I have a different set.
well, there was a big old sale on Amazon that wasn't there.
Well, nobody told me about that sale, did they? I saw that set on DVD at Walmart and I didn't want it.
Well, you need to pay attention when Amazon does deals.
Well, I don't want them all. I don't need all of them because look, I recently learned there's like four terrible Invisible Man movies. I don't want those.
I want
I have the first one. That's the only one I'm going to go back to.
I want them all.
I don't. I'm all set.
Since you're not fun.
I'm awesome. It's super fun. I'm so fun. I only buy good movies.
That's a bold faced lie. I know you got some completionist type ones in there here and there.
Did I buy X-Men Dark Phoenix on 4K for $3 at Half Price Books last week? Maybe.
There it is. There it is.
Well, with that, let's take a look at what Letterboxd has to say on our final segment, What's in the Box?
What's in the fucking box? Give me the gun.
The Invisible Man, 3.8 out of 5. Pretty good.
Pretty high. Not what you usually get on Letterboxd.
It's good. It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. This is one of my more favorite Universal monster movies.
Yeah. Me too. I have 4 reviews here, 1 positive and 3 negative. Let's get into it. This first one's from Karst. This had me laughing. I hope this is a troll. Not sure if this is scientifically possible, but still really liked the movie. 4.5 stars. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure this isn't scientifically possible. I'm not questioning this.
Yeah, I don't think it's possible to make someone invisible and you have to wear bandages the rest of your life.
I love the idea of someone watching this and being like, I don't think that's real.
It's like that guy. That guy when you watch a movie about like trying fucking robots fighting each other, like car would never do that when it crashes. I don't give a shit right now.
Well, why don't you go crash a car and find out? I'm trying to watch this.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know I didn't know the realism police were here in my movie about fighting fucking robot monsters or something. Like,
yeah. Now we get to the bad ones. This is from Dennis McGinley. Never seen the movie. Seems boring. Watch the trailer. Can't even see the main character. There was no hype for this movie. I'm watching another movie during 1933. It could have been a good year for cinema in 1933 if this movie was actually decent. 0.5 star. That is all one sentence with no punctuation.
He also started off saying he hasn't seen the movie, so why are you grading it?
Yep. That is my biggest peeve with Letterboxd. People who give a movie a score without watching it. Like, why are you here? Why are you part of the discussion? You didn't do the reading.
Yeah. I haven't watched this movie. I only saw a trailer. 1 star. What?
Yeah, those people can rot. This next one's from Jeff Niveen. This had me laughing too. Fantastic effects. Reminded me of Memoirs of an Invisible Man. That young girl was a horrible actress. 2 stars. This reminded you of Memoirs of an Invisible Man? You mean John Carpenter's half-assed take on The Invisible Man reminded you of The Invisible Man? Wow, what a coincidence.
What a coinkydink.
Jesus Christ. It's like you're watching Godzilla, 2014. You're like, this kind of reminds me of that 1998 movie Godzilla. Like, yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. I'm just watching Friday 13th from 2009. I'm just like, this reminds me of Friday 13th from 1980.
I wonder if the Michael Myers in this Halloween is the same Michael Myers from the other Halloween. I don't know if I could watch a movie with someone that's stupid.
Yeah. I'd just be sitting there going, oh God, just stop talking.
I'd make up lies and be like, no, that's his twin brother, also named Michael.
Oh no, you should have come up with a new name.
Michael.
That's his twin brother. It's Eichel Myers.
No, that's not Michael Myers. That's Michael Eisner before he ran Disney. In
That's
fact, he
Bob
got
Iger.
ousted because of all the murders. Ah,
Oh,
that's just so funny. It's like, wow, this is reminding me of that movie with an invisible man. Like, oh my god, I'd have an
yeah.
aneurysm just talking to this guy.
That's just going. Yeah, gee, I wonder why they're.
And this last one just had me laughing and really kind of made me reevaluate the whole movie. This is from Gabby. He was doing all that with his cock out. 2 stars.
She's not wrong. There's many moments he's not wearing any kind of shirt or anything.
Really kind of amazing he didn't freeze to death out there, completely nude in the frozen farms of
Hey,
villages.
maybe because Claude Rains is packing a hog down there, he didn't film anything. I don't know.
Just because you have a big dick does not mean you're not going to freeze it off in like sub-zero temperatures.
One, I'm just assuming Claude Rains has big dick. I don't know. Two, that's exactly how that works.
I'm not questioning the size of Claude Rains' hog. I'm saying any person with a huge dick naked in the Arctic is going to freeze.
We don't know this for sure yet.
Oh, the conundrums we find ourselves in all the time.
Every time.
I know right now we're never going to find someone willing to test that theory.
We don't know that. There has to be at least one crazy motherfucker. Nothing left to lose type of guy.
Confidential experiment, like patient wanted. You must be willing to be nude in public, must have quite a hog. Call now.
For now.
Well, that is The Invisible Man. Happy 90th. Crazy. This was a blast. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you like the show, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Filmgazm Productions. If you want to suggest films for us to check out, you can email us at filmgazm@gmail.com or send us a message through the socials. Check out our Letterboxd account for daily reviews. You search for me at Connor95, and in my friends list, you can find the rest of the team. Check out the website, filmgazm.com, where I have a link to that letterbox. You can also find articles, trailers of upcoming films, and every episode of our show. If you'd like to become a monthly donor to Filmgazm Productions, click on the link in the episode description. From there, click on Support This Podcast. You can choose to donate $1 a month, $5 a month, or $10 a month, and all donations go right back into the show. Thanks to the entire Filmgazm team for their contributions. Thanks to Cooley Cow for our awesome theme music. Thanks to you for checking it out. Next week, we continue our anniversary episodes with a movie that has come to define the Halloween season for generations and is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. Henry Selick and Tim Burton's animated masterpiece, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Pumpkin King Jack Skellington learns about the joys of Christmas and tries to meld them with the joys of Halloween to disastrous results. It's a wonderful, timeless movie, and I can't wait to discuss it next week. This is, I think, one of the first ones we wrote down. And I've never met anyone who doesn't love this movie. It's one of the most universally beloved films.
Oh, it's a great movie. That I want my take to be known now. Like this. There's two things that must be known when it comes to me in film. One, Die Hard's a fucking Christmas movie. I will fight you on that. Two, Nightmare Before Christmas is both a Halloween and a Christmas movie. You can watch it on both times, and you are so good.
What if I want to watch this in June?
Are you fucking crazy?
I mean, I'm just asking.
I mean, you can, but I'm saying to settle that debate, at least my stance on that whole debate, the film is both, okay?
I would argue it's way more of a Halloween movie than it is a Christmas movie, but you know, y'all do y'all.
Yeah, it's just that's when like one it has a little bit more validity than the whole like Die Hard thing. People like because as far as I'm concerned, people are like it's not a Christmas. I'm like, well, then you're a fucking idiot.
I'll say this: I watch it every Halloween. I don't think I've ever actually watched this at Christmas time.
Yeah, I know Freeform when their programming will show it for both Halloween and Christmas.
Makes sense. It is a easily marketable film for both holidays.
Yeah, so that's just my stance. You can watch it for both. It's fine. I do prefer it on Halloween myself, but I count it as both.
I'm looking forward to digging into this movie again and giving Henry Selick his proper due, the man who actually made this movie.
Yes.
And
Thank God he had Coraline. And he actually had to not be under someone else's shadow. I understand why a lot of people tied to Tim Burton. This came out during the height of his I'll say his peak time when he was famous. So I get it, but it's just an injustice to Henry Selick.
Well, he designed, Burton designed it. He came up with the idea. It looks very Burton-esque, but Henry Selick's the guy who was, moving the claymation characters. He was the guy who, it's his movie more than Burton's, I would argue. But I will look into the validity of that, and we will talk about that next week.
What about having another hot fucking Filmgazm debate?
I don't know. I honestly, the person I'm recording this with, I don't know their thoughts on this movie. So they requested it. So we're going to see. I think they like it a lot. Otherwise, why would they suggest? It'd be weird to suggest a movie here and then just rip it to pieces. But we'll find out.
Yeah, we don't have to be on the bad anymore, thank God. So,
well, in the meantime, take it easy, keep watching movies, and we will see you next week.